Hey everyone, What If Fan here, bringing you another exciting part of What If Martial Artist Reborn is Kenichi Shirahama. You can find the fanfic title and the original author's name on my Patreon page. Make sure to check it out and show them some love. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. Alright, let's jump into it. Chapter 181, Dealing with Stuart and Mike 2. Whatever other case may be, he did help me in finding my mother and I am indebted to him in that regard, so first we clear the debt, only then can you plan against him if he is as dangerous as you said, Kenichi stated. Deal. Najima replied. So in which room number are they staying? Kenichi asked. It's the presidential suite on 10th floor, room 1001 replied Najima. Then there must be cameras there. Kenichi asked. Yes, but don't worry, I had insert our company's latest chip in one of the CPU at the reception desk and grin there. It wasn't hard to enter their system. Now whenever you want I can change the original video feed to the loop video, Najima stated. For how long will you be able to maintain the video feed? Asked Kenichi. 20 to 30 minutes. Najima stated. It's more than enough. Start it now, Kenichi stated. Najima typed for a few minutes at the laptop and said it's done. Nice, said Kenichi with a smile as he walked towards the door ready to open it. Wait. Kenichi, are you going to go there like that without hiding your face? Najima asked. If not, then how will they know that it was me and no one else? Kenichi stated. You aren't planning to kill them, so they obviously could use the law to get back at you. That was the reason they didn't show you their face when they sent the video, even though you clearly knew it was them. Najima stated. I am not like them, Najima. I want them to see my face clearly when I deal with them. Kenichi stated. I am fine with that, but at least hide your face until you reach there. I don't want eyewitness pointing out that they saw you're moving in the direction of the presidential suite, room 801, Najima stated. Okay, but then what soul I hide my have with? Do you want me to hide it with my handkerchief? Asked Kenichi. Of course not. Here, Najima said, throwing a mask towards Kenichi. When Kenichi looked at the mask properly, he found out that it was the same monkey mask he used while he fought in the underground arena. The handkerchief would be better. Kenichi deadpanned. Oh come on, let the Monkey King have some fun as well. It's been a long time since he had any action, Najima said with a smirk. Kenichi sighed as he shook his head and walked out of the room while holding onto the monkey mask. Only when he entered the lift and pushed the button for 10th floor did Kenichi wore the mask. According to what Najima has told him, the 10th floor only had 5 rooms, all of them being presidential suite, out of which 3 were booked, 1 by Mike, 1 by Stuart, and the last one was George's. Since Mike was in Stuart's room, his room was empty, and other than George there were no one else staying on the floor, making the entire floor theirs. Just as the lift came to stop at 10th floor, Kenichi came out of lift and saw 4 men in black studying in the hallway. When the guards saw someone coming out of the lift, and that too in a mask, they instantly became vigilant and wanted to warn him before going to offense, but before they could even shout, the men in monkey mask reached the 2 standing in the front, and with a front kick to their faces the 2 men became unconscious as their body flew back crashing onto the men behind them, and before the other 2 men could push the ones who were above them, Kenichi reached them, and after a single kick each they were out cold as well. Well, that was easy as hell, thought Kenichi as he looked towards room 1001 and room 1002 as well. Grabbing onto one of the guard, Kenichi dragged him in front of room 1001's peephole so as to not frighten those inside. Just for that, Kenichi picked up the guard who didn't took his front kick as their faces were bleeding. Knock 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 asterisk. Kenichi knocked on the door while holding onto the guard in to look like he was standing straight in front of the peephole. What are you doing here and not guarding the hallway as told to do? Came a voice from the other side of the door as it was half opened. And just as the door was fully open, Kenichi let go of the guard as he fell face first inside the room. Ah! Exclaimed the person who opened the door, and that was all he could say before Kenichi entered the room as well. Backrock, which is a type of push kick, an upward kick which use bottom of the foot as the striking surface at the jaws of the man, knocking him out. Entering the room, Kenichi saw that the man he knocked out was another guard. How many guards do they have? Thought Kenichi. Who is there? Asked someone from inside, but Kenichi didn't reply as he stormed right in the direction from where the voice came. As he entered the living room, he saw Mike Stuart sitting in sofa while their secretaries staying by their side and 2 guards standing behind each of them. What the? Ah. Fuck. Shit. All the 4 guards were knocked out before they could even fully curse, leaving only 5 people awake in the room, one of which was Kenichi, while the other 4 were the 2 secretaries and Mike and Stuart. Kenichi pointed at the secretaries and signaled them to get out, being girls who haven't seen something like this before. They immediately followed his orders and ran out of the room. Kenichi knew that these girls will most probably find someone and ask for help if they were good secretaries, but it didn't matter to him as he would be done by that time. Now to deal with you two, said Kenichi, finally opening his mouth. Yo, you. Mike stuttered, not being able to complete whatever he wanted to say. Kenichi Shirahama, stuttered Stuart as he says Kenichi's name. Alive and kicking. Chapter 182, Full Control on Ghosh Industries. Yo, you. Mike stuttered, not being able to complete whatever he wanted to say. Kenichi Shirahama, stuttered Stuart as he says Kenichi's name. Alive and kicking, said Kenichi as he took off his mask. I really want to know what is that you are currently feeling. Fear, desperation, anger. Tell me, what are you currently feeling? Asked Kenichi. But how? Mike asked. We had blown up that hotel. Stuart said. Yeah, if few bombs were all that took to kill me, then my master's training and my own training was nothing but waste of time, said Kenichi. More that we cleared that up. You guys ready for what you are going to get? What? Said the 2 of them together. Speed, the 2 of them, as both their left hands were dislocated before they could even react. Stop shouting it, I will break that mouth. Kenichi threatened, forcing them to shut their mouth. Good, now where was I? Yeah, I was breaking you, Kenichi said playfully. Please. Let us go, Kenichi. Mike begged. Just tell us, what do you want, we will give it to you. Stuart said. Slap asterisk. HMNP, you think I would let you go after what you have done to me? Kenichi said as he slapped the 2 men. Their mouths started bleeding from the slap and the 2 were feeling dread when Stuart said, I will return the shares of Ghosh Industries that I have along with $100 million American dollars. With that we can bury the hatchet. Kenichi looked at Stuart as if he was an idiot. Kenichi already told him that they won't be going anywhere. He still wants to buy his freedom. I will give $200 million American dollars and you can let us go. Moreover, if we are badly injured or die here, our families will link it to you directly and they would try to take revenge against your family. Now we know that you don't care about them, but they will try to go after your family, so if you let us go now, we won't come after any of you as we know how strong you are. Mike tried to reason with Kenichi to let them go. Kenichi, after hearing Mike's words, was thinking about letting them, but how to deal with their family, but he stopped right there as that would crossing the line which he didn't wanted to cross. Kenichi looked at the 2 of them and his gleamed with strange light. Covering his hands with key, he trapped into their shoulders 2 times and the key was released into their body. After making sure that he was successful, Kenichi stated, if your family came after my family, then you won't have a family, hence I would give a chance to redeem yourself. The things you 2 promised. How are you going to provide then to me? I have the papers right here. I can sign them now, said Stuart as he used his right hand to open the briefcase on his right and took out the papers and signed in a single flow. Kenichi took the papers and read it, making sure that they were original, but that was not all. He searched the briefcase that Stuart had opened and matched the signature with the papers to make sure that they were his original signatures. Okay, the signatures are yours, what about the money? How will you send it? Kenichi asked. To which Stuart and Mike took out their cell phone and called a number one after another to their bank to make the transfer to Kenichi's account. All that took less than 5 minutes and Kenichi got a message that $300 million American dollars were added to his bank account. Well, looks like you guys had already planned so of this, says Kenichi as he checked his message, then looked at the 2 of them. You won't be stopped now if you want to leave the country. Both their eyes went wide open when they got to know that it was none other than Kenichi. What are you staring at? Go get out, said Kenichi as the two ran like dogs with tails between their legs. As the two ran from the room, Kenichi called Najima. Yes, Kenichi, what happened? Asked Najima. Tell your men that they don't have to stop those guys from leaving the country, said Kenichi. Okay, so were you able to satisfy your anger? Asked Najima. Oh, I did more than that, said Kenichi as he disconnected the phone and walked out of the room. After telling Najima to stop his men from going after Mike and Stuart, Kenichi decided to use the stairs to walk down to the first floor and meet the others. On the ground floor, Mike and Stuart caught up to their secretaries who were bringing hotel staff to help them, but they stopped them there and called for a cab straight for the airport to get out of this country. Knock knock knock. Kenichi knocked onto the door of room 101 where his friends were waiting for him while the monkey mask that he wore earlier was now in his hand. Nyo opened the door for Kenichi, and as he entered the room, Suji asked, "So did you beat them black and blue?" "No," replied Kenichi. "Then did you break their bones?" asked Yuma. "Well, just their left hand and nothing else," replied Kenichi. "Then you must have bleed out a lot," Kazara stated. "Not much, just a little from their mouth," Kenichi said. "Then what the hell did you do?" shouted everyone at once. "I made them cower in fear and forced them to leave large amount of compensation behind," Kenichi said as he took out the papers signed by Stuart and the message of $300 million American dollars on his phone. You let them go just like that?" Kazara said with disgust filled in her voice. "I didn't thought that you were someone like that," Kan-Aim said. "Kamen Shirahama, you were better than this," Soji said. "Other than these three, no one else," pointed out Kenichi, because they saw him smiling, and since they have known Kenichi for such a long time, they knew he wasn't the type to let go of such big grievance just like that. "When will you explain fully, Kenichi?" Chapter 183, Truth. You let them go just like that," Kazara said with disgust filled in her voice. "I didn't thought that you were someone like that," Kan-Aim said. "Kamen Shirahama, you were better than this," Soji said. "Other than these three, no one else," pointed out Kenichi, because they saw him smiling, and since they have known Kenichi for such a long time, they knew he wasn't the type to let go of such big grievance just like that. "When will you explain fully, Kenichi?" asked Najima, to which Kenichi could only smile as he said, "Never thought that you would trust me so much as well, Najima." "You can talk about these things later, Kenichi. But first tell us what happened there," asked Siko. "Okay, the thing is, when I have dealt with their guards and broken their left hand, they tried different ways to coax me to leave them, one of which being obviously money, the other being the safety of my family. Of course they got slapped for that, but then Mike stated that he has a family who will take revenge for him, and even if the police don't find me for what I do with those two, his family will, and they will hurt my loved ones if they won't be able to hurt me. Now I don't want to risk my family's safety again, so I patted their shoulders, took their money and the rest of the shares of my company, after which I let them go," explained Kenichi. "You patted their shoulders?" asked Siko. "Yes," replied Kenichi. "What did you do, Kenichi?" Nyo asked this time. "Yes. There is no way you would pat them or even let them go like that," Renka stated. "Well, I used my ki and Master Kensei's acupuncture techniques, that's it," Kenichi replied with a smile. "What will happen to them?" asked Takeda. "Well, it's my first time with this technique, so I am not sure, but if it works then they will be paralyzed below their waist, and if it doesn't their whole body gets paralyzed, but even in the worst case scenario they will go into vegetative state," replied Kenichi. No sound was heard in the room for a full minute. Everyone was horrified by the consequences of Kenichi's new technique. It really, as Kenichi said, would be worse than death, since even with all that money they won't be able to enjoy it. "That's evil," Yuma said. "Well, I don't know what to say," Takeda said. "Then don't say. I know what I did may look a lot for you, but to me I let them go easy, as they won't feel the pain when their body becomes paralyzed. Everyone has their reverse scales for which they would do anything, and like most of the people, mine is my family as well, and you guys come in it as well. I think of you all as my family, so if something happens any of you, this is how I am gonna react, so just get used to it," Kenichi stated as he sat on a chair and grabbed a bottle of Coke and started chugging it. Once again everyone went silent as they became emotional hearing Kenichi's words. You trying to make me emotional, Shirahama? But it's not gonna work. I still wanna fight you, said Suji. Oh, shut up, speed almost everyone at once. Don't worry, it's not like it can't be cured. Master Kensei can cure it, I can do it, and who knows how many people it there can cure it, stated Kenichi. Yeah, I don't think there are many people that knows about acupoint as much as my dad does. Renka stated. Ah, then I will cure then after few years when my anger has subsidized, Kenichi said. Well, it's fine, at least you got benefits from them, Naijima said, though with 100 million I could make our company expand more within sorry amount of time. I know you can buy it, I just give it to you, then it won't be good for others, right? So I would hire you for Ghosh Industries until I am ready to take on the reins on my own, which I hardly think will happen anytime soon, and these 100 million will be the compensation for it. Kenichi stated. That's a nice idea. Naijima stated. Well, since all you guys have been such a nice help in this endeavor of mine, I have decided to make a joint account in the Shinpaku Alliance name from which all of you can take money whenever you want, Kenichi stated. Ha! What? Oh. Ah! Exclaimed the Shinpaku Alliance in shock. What? What do you mean by that? Asked Kaname. Well, since we are going to be working for a long time, I think there shouldn't be a time where you are short on money and your pride doesn't allow you to ask our help, so with this account you can take money whenever you want and no one even try to know who it is. I am going to fill the account with $100 million for now. I think that should be enough, right? Kenichi stated, and it is most definitely not only for you. Maybe Raichi or Tsukasa need it or someone other need it and they can take that money from this account. That will be good, and we can change the account password every other month so that it doesn't go out of the circle, and we can keep this password as a price for those rising to the captain's rank or since important divisional members. This will give them a motivation to become strong and more loyal to Shinpaku Alliance, Naijima stated, after which he started rambling which no one cared to hear about. That is a great, Kenichi, especially for Raichi and Tsukasa who may need this money for their family, Yukita said. Oh yeah, by the way. How is Raichi found? Asked Suji. Kenichi raised his eyebrow when he heard Suji's question, but he still replied, she is still at Master Akasame's clinic but will be discharged today. If you want to meet her then you should go now, because after this I am not sure if she will want to meet someone. After losing to Arata she looked very sad, so I am pretty sure she will dive into training. Chapter 184, Meeting George. Kenichi raised his eyebrow when he heard Suji's question, but he still replied, she is still at Master Akasame's clinic but will be discharged today. If you want to meet her then you should go now, because after this I am not sure if she will want to meet someone. After losing to Arata she looked very sad, so I am pretty sure she will dive into training. Why do you think I will do something like that? I have my training to do as well. Suji said, getting up from seat. Now that you don't need us, I will go back to do my training. After that speech Suji left the room and ran from the hotel like a bull. Does he think that we don't understand or what? Yukita asked. Leave him be, at least he has someone to run after while the two of us are just sad. Takeda said while shaking his head. Why do you have to bring up that topic? Yukita said. La 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 la. I have just thought of good lyrics and will have to write before I forget, Siegfried said as he left the living room to enter the bedroom to write the lyrics. This hotel room is booked for the day, so you can rest here or party if you want, Naijima stated, while I and Kenichi will go and meet George then join you guys. Oh. George, yeah, that guy was also on the same floor as them. Let's go and see what he wants. Kenichi said as he and Naijima left the room to meet George. Out of all the people left in the room, not many people have stayed in a hotel room before. Only Siegfried, Siko and Renka have stayed in a hotel room before, so they didn't felt weird, but that couldn't be said for others. Let's order something to eat while we wait for those two. Tell me what do you guys want and I will order it. Siko said, picking up the telephone in the room. Are you sure? We don't really need it. We can wait for them and then order something. Kazara stated. You don't have to worry about that. My boyfriend has so much money that he can't even sirens enough, so we are just helping him. Right, Renka? No. Siko stated. Myoho has only returned from Dreamland after understanding the fact that Kenichi and a millionaire smiled and said yes, he had a lot of money. While Renka smiled, and most of all it's Najima who booked the room, so even if you don't want to make Kenichi pay, just think of it as Najima paying you all for your services till now. Okay, then I will order first, a plate of beef along with something to drink. This can be my appetizer, Yuma said. Siko smiled as she heard Yuma's words and nodded her head, calling the room service. While the Shinpaku Alliance was enjoying themselves, Kenichi and Monona was standing before the room of George waiting for someone to open the door. After few seconds the door opened and it was none other than Lucy, the secretary of George, who told him about his mother's location. Mr. Kenichi, my boss have been waiting for you, please come in, Lucy said, after which she didn't forget to greet Najima even if she didn't know who he was, but since he was with Kenichi she would at least acknowledge him. Entering the presidential suite, Kenichi saw that George was during in the living room with a glass of wine in his hand. Mr. Shirahama, you are here, I have been waiting for you, said George. I am sorry, Mr. Smith, but I was busy taking care of some personal business, that's why I didn't came earlier, replied Kenichi with a smile. It's alright, I knew you were busy, that's why I didn't disturb you earlier and waited for you, replied George, standing up and shaking hands with Kenichi. And I appreciate that, Kenichi stated. This here is my friend Haruo Najima, who will be looking after Ghosh Industries in my absence, so I thought I would introduce you to him. Hearing that, George was surprised, which was clearly shown on his face, but he regained his composure and shook hands with Najima. I am sorry, but can I know the reason of you not taking the control over Ghosh Industries yourself? Asked George. Well, there are many problems that I have to deal with and none of them are as easy as the one I just dealt with now, so even if I wanted to I wouldn't be able to deal with the formalities and all the meetings that I will have to do as the owner of Ghosh Industries. Kenichi explained. That's why as Kenichi's friend I will help him deal with those situations until he deal with the problems he is facing now, Najima stated. Well, that's nice of you, Mr. Haruo. I don't think I could trust someone like that with my company as Mr. Shirahama has done, stated George. Well, of course we have been friends with each other for such long, do he trusts me, Najima said. Well, now that the introduction are done, let me thank you, Mr. Smith. Kenichi said. Thank you for telling me where my MOM was held. Ah. You scared me. George says when he heard such loud and deep voice of Kenichi, it was not a big thing. As a man with a family I have always wanted to keep them separate, so when I got to know that those two were doing something like that, it was my duty to tell you. Maybe for you it was your duty, but it was a great deal of help for me and I am in your debt for that. Tell me, is there anything I can do for you? If it's in my power I would do it, stated Kenichi. Well, I had a business proposal that I wanted to show you. If you can consider it, then you can clear the debt. Chapter 185, Message from Goddess. Well, I had a business proposal that I wanted to show you. If you can consider it, then you can clear the debt, George said. We would love to do business with you. Before Kenichi could reply, Najima took over as he didn't want it for Kenichi to suffer in business. Okay, first of all, congratulations on successfully dealing with Mike and Stuart. Now you can easily show your face to the world and no one will look down on you. George congratulates Kenichi. Thank you, replied Kenichi with a smile. Well, as you know that neither you nor any of us could stand in America due to Tony Stark being the weapon manufacturer for their army, and after him there is Justin Hammer, who may not be anywhere near him but still has enough pull in the military, but Stark only sells to the military. Well, on the pages he only sells to the American military, while Justin Hammer had tried to sell his weapons in Asia, but since most of the market here was captured by Ghosh Industries along with many European countries, he couldn't enter the market, while in Australia I have the same power, so I am thinking that the two of us collaborating will be able to totally control these 3 continents. George said. Najima's eyes were shining with strange light when he heard George's plan, while Kenichi was just stunned silent as if he was a statue. His mind couldn't work as the names such as Tony Stark and Justin Hammer weren't foreign to him, but there weren't such people with these names from what he remembered. What? 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 Why are they casually saying these names, and what the fuck do you mean by taking control of the 3 continents weapon industry? Where am I? Am I still in my world, or is this a parallel universe that I somehow transmitted after the blast? Thoughts such as these were roaming in his mind and he couldn't hear a single thing discussed by George and Najima. Buzz buzz asterisk. While Kenichi was thinking that he was in a dream of some sort, his phone vibrated, airing him that someone had messaged him. Looking at George and Naijima, who were completely immersed in discussing their plan, Kenichi didn't thought it would be right, so he took out his phone to check who had messaged him now. As he opened his phone, Kenichi looked at the name of the person who sent the message was none other than Reincarnation Goddess. When he read the name, Kenichi knew that it was something that Reincarnation Goddess has done, otherwise it was impossible for him to not know that there was someone like Tony Stark and Justin Hammer in his world. Hello, Kenichi. I know you must be thinking, what is happening with the world, right? Well, it was because I wanted to help you with something, but since you didn't wanted my help because this world wasn't strong enough for it, I decided to change the world a little to make this world strong enough for you to enjoy. Yes, since you said that you weren't in Marvel World, I decided to merge your world with Marvel's world. The reason you not know anything about it but others do is because they were from this world and a simple memory altering was needed, but in your case I didn't want it to do something like that, and since you already know about both the worlds I knew you won't be needing it. Now don't worry about you being not strong enough for this world. I have not only fully released the cap on your body, so all you need to do is continue training and you will continue to become stronger just like those scions. Moreover, the Son Goku teachings that you would now can be taught by you to anyone you want, as much as you want, however you want. It's up to you to decide how you want to do it. All you have to do is focus on the teachings for some time and you will know it. One more thing, you asked me to revive Mofuriniji's mother and let her be sleep in coma for a while and awoke her around this time. So I am reminding you that she would be waking up soon. Now enjoy your life in the now Marvel World __. Kenichi's hand was shaking, and it wasn't from excitement but in fear. Here felt like slapping himself. Why? Why did I say Marvel? I could have easily said High School DxD or Campione or Shin Maimao Testament, but I went and said Marvel, where literal gods weren't strong to protect themselves, thought Kenichi. Kenichi Naijima called out. Ha! Yeah, what is it, Naijima? Asked Kenichi. What do you think of this business deal? Naijima asked. Well, Kenichi haven't heard anything that they said, so he didn't even know what to think about it. I am sorry, Mr. George, but that's not what I have thought of Gauche Industries. Then what have you thought about it? Asked George. I don't want to be a weapon manufacturer, as no matter what I do, the weapons made by Gauche Industries are still out there, and I want to clear the dirty name of it before I change it, Kenichi said. Ha! What do you mean by that? George asked. Well, you want to become the controller of weapons after Stark, right? So I think the best way for that will be if you purchased all my weapon manufacturer factories and the employees of mine who work in that field, Kenichi stated. You don't want to be a weapon manufacturer, so you want to sell them to me? George stated. Yes, but please make sure that the weapons made by you don't end up in the hands of the so-called revolutionaries or terrorists, Kenichi pointed out. Of course there is no way I am letting those fucking terrorists get their hands on my weapons. I don't want the tag of Merchant of Death. We should let Stark have that, George said. Then that's all I wanted to hear. Chapter 186, Drunk. Of course there is no way I am letting those fucking terrorists get their hands on my weapons. I don't want the tag of Merchant of Death. We should let Stark have that, George said. Then that's all I wanted to hear. Kenichi said as he shook his hand. Then if you don't mind me asking, what you are doing to do with Gauche Industries? George asked. Well, other than weapons. Gauche Industries is still good in making other technologies, and I would focus on them, after which I was going to enter the medical sector, Kenichi explained. Then it's look like we won't have any problems with each other. George said. Of course that's what I was aiming for, Kenichi replied. Okay, then we will meet after we both have made preparations for this deal, George said. Kenichi nodded his head, and after talking for a few more minutes both of them left the room. What do you think about those two boys, Lucy? Asked George after Kenichi and Naijima has left the room. Both are intelligent boys, but I feel they are opposite to each other in many cases. Lucy stated, Kenichi beloved in straightforward approach, while Naijima looks like someone who would always go on a roundabout approach. Correct, but another thing to see is that they really trust each other. Especially when both of them know that they aren't people of the same breed, George stated, taking a sip of his wine. Kenichi and Naijima were in the lift when Naijima opened his mouth. Do you really want to let go of the weapon industry? Yes, Najima, I don't think I would be able to eat or sleep well if I am the owner of a company which creates weapons for destruction. Kenichi stated. But do you really want to send all your employees to that George Smith? I don't think he is really a good guy, Najima said. Neither do I, Najima, but he is still better than Stark, who doesn't even know what's happening in his company. By the way, I am not going to send all my employees to him. I would at least keep few great minds with me as who can work on whatever they want, and who knows, someday their weapons may be helpful to us, Kenichi stated. Oh. Then it's okay, it will also be easy for me to handle both companies at the same time, Najima stated. Yeah, let's go and weigh something. I haven't had anything since the morning, Kenichi says as they walked out of the lift, towards their room. Woohoo! Oh ha ha ha. As they just reached the door of their room, both of them heard shots and laugh coming from inside. Looks like they are all partying without us, Kenichi stated. Najima took out a key and said, then let's look what is happening inside. Kenichi moved aside to let Najima open the door. When the door was opened, they saw Takeda and Yukita knocked out while Yuma was singing with Siegfried, and the girls were holding the bottle of wine with cheeks flushed. How the fuck did they got wine? Do they look more than teenager to anyone? Kenichi spoke. Ah. Kenichi-kun, you are here, Mio said as she jumped towards him. Kenichi caught Mio by her waist and asked again, how were you able to get wine? It Yuma, we let him open the door and they didn't even thought that someone of his stature cannot be legal, Mio said as she laughed. What the fuck, was so Kenichi could say as he looked at Yuma and knew that anyone could such mistakes. They are really drunk. How many bottles did they have? Najima asked. Doesn't matter. You go to the reception and ask for the room adjacent to this one so that I could let the girls sleep in there while the boys will sleep here, Kenichi said. Okay, I will go, Najima said as he left Kenichi to deal with drunkards. Kenichi took Mio to a chair and put her on it, after which he took Takeda and Yukita to a bedroom and then Yuma and Siegfried to a different room. After taking care of the boys, only girls were left, but Kenichi was having a headache as they were continuously throwing themselves at him. Okay girls, if it was at normal time I would have eaten you all and wouldn't have taken a burp, but right now you wasted and would curse yourselves after it, so control yourselves, Kenichi said to the girls. Ah. Don't be a pussy, hick, when a girl throws herself at you, and be a man, do hick what you should really do, Kaname said as she grabbed his of Kenichi and kissed him directly. MMPHH, shocked, Kenichi said, but since Kaname had already told him to be a real man and even kissed him, there was no way he wouldn't reciprocate it. Both his hands grabbed onto Kaname's ass as he kissed her back, caramel flavor tongue. MMNNN moaned Kaname as Kenichi's tongue wrapped around Kaname's tongue. Moo. I want a kiss, hick, as well, said Renka as she pulled Kenichi from Kaname and kissed him herself. Kenichi of course wasn't the type to back down from a kiss, so he kissed back Renka as his hands entered her short dress, grabbing her bare thigh and slowly raised it from to her ass. The kiss with Renka was different from Kaname as it was more wild than her. Renka was more aggressive than Kenichi. If not for Mio stopping her by pulling her, Kenichi was sure that he would be raped by her. Damn girl. You are like a wild kitten, Kenichi said. Kenichi, called Kazara as she walked towards him, wrapping her hand around him. When is hick my turn? Right now, said Kenichi as he tightly grabbed Kazara's leg, making her moan. On. Moaned Kazara by opening her mouth, and Kenichi kissed her using his tongue to explore her mouth. MMNNN. Kenichi-kun, we are here as well, hick, said Mo, who was hugging Siko right now. Chapter 187, Mistake or Intentionally. MMNNN. Kenichi-kun, we are here as well, hick, said Mo, who was hugging Siko right now. Hearing these words and looking at Mio and Siko hugging each other, Kenichi's little brother couldn't stay silent and stood up ready for action. Kenichi knew that if Najima doesn't come now, then there won't be any need for him to come anymore. But it looks like luck wasn't on his side as Najima came running with the key to the adjacent room right after Kenichi decided to forget everything and enjoy himself. Sighing, Kenichi took the key from Najima and opened the door for room 102 and brought the girls in that room one by one. After letting Kazara and Kaname sleep in one bedroom, Kenichi went back to the living room and brought Mio and Siko to a different bedroom as Renka is already lying flat in the sofa. Kenichi, called Siko, grabbing onto Kenichi's hand as he was going out of the room. Yes, Siko Kenichi said. Where are you going hic? Until you satisfy us hic said Siko. Yes hic, you kissed so 3 of them hic but not us and as punishment you have to do hic more than that, Mio stated. Okay, I didn't want it to do this but if you continue to speak like that I will definitely eat you, said Kenichi as he placed his palms on their stomach and used his ki, internal energy, to remove the liquor from their system leaving only water so they won't be drunk. But he was shocked by the girls again moo. Kenichi! Hic why are you such a scaredy cat? Said Siko still acting drunk though it was clear that she wasn't drunk anymore as his face wasn't flushed while same with Mio but she as well wasn't letting him go. They are continuing to act drunk as they don't have the courage to ask directly, thought Kenichi. Kenichi-kun. Mio called. Yeah, Mio don't worry you won't be going home today neither will Siko, said Kenichi as he looked at the 2 girls. Even after I cleaned the liquor from your bodies you still acted drunk means you weren't drink at the first place but still acted such so that you could do something like this without any shame right, said Kenichi shocking the 2 but he wasn't finished. I am sorry that it was you who had to initiate it, but let me tell you I was controlling myself as well and after that incident in Hotel de Luna I want to cherish you all more than anything. Kenichi kissed Siko as his hand grabbed onto Mio's breast squeezing the soft marshmallows like breasts of her making her moan as the other 2 kissed. After Siko he kissed Mio and played Siko's breasts squeezing them as he liked. You don't have to worry Kenichi, there is no way we would reject you in any scenario. Siko stated as she started undress herself. Lemon scene happened. Chapter 188, Definitely Intentionally. I am coming, cried the Mio and came at once. Sensational nectar trickled down only to be sucked in Kenichi's mouth as his grip on Mio's plump but grew even tighter. He sampled every inch of her fleshy, twitching warm walls as Mio kept moaning and groaning seeing which Siko couldn't control herself and gave a passionate kiss to Mio. Moo! You are bad Kenichi. You totally forgot about me came a voice from the entrance of the bedroom and the 3 people saw Renka standing there. And before anyone could say anything Renka had already joined the bed with them already stripping herself naked. Ma Kensei and Hayato Furinagi flinched at once and felt dread after long time. What happened to you 2? Asked Akasane coming out of a room. The place where they were was not part of Ryo Zanpaku Dojo and the 3 had came for a different matter. I don't know but I felt something irrecoverable was going to happen. Kensei said. I felt the same. Said Hayato and the 2 looked at each other for a few seconds. Kenichi. Lemon scene happened. Chapter 189, Time with Girls. Quite delicious. Thought Mio. While Mio savored the taste, her lips were suddenly kissed by Renka, who almost immediately invaded her mouth, trying to find something. Eh? You drank all of it? You are so greedy, said Renka while Mio had a smile on his face. Of course, his first load belongs to me and only me, replied Mio. Siko didn't cared about that as she had already gotten up from his face and was looking at him intently. Kenichi of course knew what she wants and he couldn't say no to her hence he immediately pulled her down while Kenichi rolled over and pressed her against the bed. Lemon scene happened. Chapter 190, Time with Girls 2. Lemon scene happened 1. In their moment of fervent session the 3 failed to notice 2 pair of eyes, one sky blue and other bright green eyes that gazed at the situation of the room. When the 2 noticed the Siko, the women whom they had only seen with a serious expression sprawled condition and the blissful smile that she had showed for the first time they couldn't help but blush. Being drunk they were already not thinking clearly and now seeing the 3 strongest women's of their age behaving in such a way and showing these expressions they couldn't help but think how it would feel to have that massive cock inside them. Looks like he is really good. Maybe we should join as well said Kaname. Big sis. Kizara said in shock. What? Don't think that I don't know that he had already confessed to you and you also have feelings for him. And he has also shown interest on me but haven't acted due to all the problems he is facing now. Kaname stated as both peeked into the room. But those 3 have built their relationship with him while we haven't even been on a single date with him. Kizara protested but in her mind she was already thinking of doing it. Oh come on. Just look at the expression of the three girls. Do you think that they wouldn't have taken him to bed with them if they had the chance before this? And you and I both know that Shirahama Kenichi isn't the type to back down from a relationship. Moreover, don't forget that we lived in a society where polygamy is practiced. But not everyone can have more than one partner just because they aren't strong enough to keep them, and we both know that Kenichi will only grow stronger from here on. And the thing about dates and all, we can go after having the taste of that. Kaname whispered. Usually she wouldn't be this bold, but there was no barrier on her due to alcohol in her system. Kaname's whisper acted as the devil's whisper, as Kazara, who was already tempted a little, was full-on horny by the thought of getting fucked by Kenichi, and only Kenichi is even in drunk state. She won't think of anyone else but him. What about you, Kaname? All words aside, you haven't spent much time with him, Kazara said. Well, I won't deny the fact that I may be acting a little hasty, but I do have developed feelings for him, and instead of finding a man who will only be with me but not strong enough for me, I would rather be with the guy who has many women's by his side but is strong enough to take care of me, and his cock and body be capable of fuck my brains out. Moreover, I really want to feel what those two are feeling now. The last bit of her words were spoken with anticipation as Kazara sighed. Fine, we will take him after he is done with those two, Kazara said. Yeah, I would not like to raid their party right now, Kaname replied. Lemon's scene happened too. Seeing them, Kenichi thought that all three of were unconscious because of the overpleasure of their first time and him using this method to pass his teachings and some of his ki in their system. Seeing their smiling faces, Kenichi smiled back and kissed their forehead, after which he got up from the bed, picked up his shorts and wore them, then moved towards the door to go to the living room. Kaname and Kazara saw him and tried to hide, but Kenichi had already seen the two, so he smiled and said, looks like some girls are being naughty and needs to be punished. He moved out of the room and looked at the living room and saw the Kaname and Kazara sitting on the sofa. What were you girls doing looking at us while we were having sex? Kenichi asked. It's not our fault. You were making a lot of noise, so we got curious and looked through the door. Kazara as she became red after reaching the last part of the sentence. That wraps up this part of What If Martial Artist Reborn is Kenichi Shirahama. Thanks so much for listening. As always, new parts drop every 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and please consider supporting the original author as well. See you in the next one.